The smile that was on my face from that moment for the next 2 or 3 days is something I will never forget. That sensation of being able to control that car the way that I did is something that I was like, I'm hooked. Give me more.
You're listening to Drive Sport, the amateur track driver podcast. Here's your host, DMC.
Welcome to Drive Sport. I'm Dave, but for this show, please call me DMC, and my job is to help you get on track, have fun, and get your car home in one piece and get going in the sport. And the moment I decided to do this podcast, this gentleman was right at the top of the list that I wanted to speak to, Charles Turner. Charles, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Dave. How are you? I'm sorry, DMC.
Yes,
how are you?
Both work. I'm doing great. And for those who are unfamiliar with you, tell us a little bit about your job description and what you do for the Porsche Experience Center.
Well, as I said, my name's Charles Turner. I work here at the Porsche Experience Center, Los Angeles. I've been here since day one back in 2016, so 9 years of coaching. 8 years of what my main job is here. That's to deliver vehicles. I am in charge of the new vehicle delivery program where individuals, after they've purchased their vehicle from a Porsche center, can come and actually pick up the car and have a pretty fun experience that we've put together for you to make it a little bit more special than just getting the keys handed over and driving away.
Yeah, you're understating that. And I know from experience, you make a spectacular experience for people. When I bought, so I have a 992.1 2023 911 4S cab. That's a mouthful. But we did the delivery, and I say my wife and I went out there, and that's where we really first met and started to interact with each other. And so my background is in business coaching and consulting, and I was blown away by the kind of experience that you create for people. I can tell that you really pay attention to every single detail, and I won't spoil any of the surprises.
Please don't. You know, I love my surprises.
Yeah, exactly. But there are some wonderful surprises. But then part of the experience, too, is getting out on the track, not in the car, but in an equivalent car out there.
Correct. We don't want you to do anything to your car like that, having not broken it in properly. Not to say your car can't do it. You just want to get a few hundred miles on it before you start doing what we do here.
Exactly. And prior to Porsche, where were you working?
I worked for AMCI. It's a marketing company. And basically what we did was, if anyone has ever been to a car show, you know what this is. You go to a car show, you get to do a ride and drive where you get to sit inside a car, go around a drive, have somebody sitting next to you, just giving you some information about the car, basically marketing it, trying to make you want to go and buy this particular vehicle. I was that guy sitting next to you. And that was how I actually got into this position, because AMCI knew how well I could maintain control of individuals in cars, give great experiences, interact with people very well. And they decided to give me a chance up here at Porsche to be a drive coach, because didn't want to be on the road 300 days a year anymore, having just gotten married. Fortunately, you know, they thought that I had the personality for it, and they decided that they could teach me the driving aspect, and I took to it.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to start here because really this is where I began. You know, now I'm a track instructor. I'm probably coaching about 2-3 times per month. And it all started with me doing the Porsche Experience Center. I heard from a sales rep when I did my first test ride with the Boxster. And he said, well, you really need to go out to the Porsche Experience Center, then you can really experience this. And that's what I did. I went out there and I had a coach. He really set my feet on the path and taught me some of the fundamentals. It was the first time I had ever received coaching. And the Experience Center does such a fantastic job for absolute novices to come in and drive and leave feeling like, man, I really know something about this car that I never knew before.
Goodness gracious, yes. That's a testament to the coaches that we have here, the training that they've been through, and just the knowledge and how to impart that knowledge to people when they get out here on the track.
So for me, that was my first experience. And part of this podcast is to get people into it. And I think that any of the Porsche Experience Centers, which, by the way, I've also done Atlanta a few times, including with my assistant and her significant other, It's a fantastic experience to get started in it. So if someone is thinking about going to the Porsche Experience Center for the first time, what should they know about what to expect?
One thing that we always try to stress, this is not a racetrack. Don't come in here thinking that you're coming in here for true racing expertise. That's not what we do here. We teach driver development. We get you basically started. Even if you've had lots of driving experience, if you've done track days before, we are able to just hone in different skills that you may not get the opportunity to practice outside of this particular facility. For instance, people come here believing that they're just going to go and get on a track and they're going to do lap after lap after lap and drive really fast and try and push their limits. That's only part of this. We also have a lot of modules that teach you your car control. That's the only way that you're going to truly learn how to find your own limits, because if you don't know what to do if the car has passed those limits, you don't want to reach those limits, because that's when you lose your car, possibly things even worse. So we have a lot of modules that are designed to get your car control skills up, understand what understeer feels like, understand what oversteer feels like, understand how to manipulate those things when they go bad, and then how to use them to your advantage in certain situations as well.
That is fantastic. And part of what I loved about it too was it really prepared me. And I want to talk about each of the modules. Let's start with this one, which is I don't know what the technical term for it is, but it's simulating ice on a hill.
Oh,
when you're going,
the ice hill.
The ice hill. Okay. All right. And as someone who lives in Utah, and I experience that on a regular basis, my house is actually up on a hill. And in fact, last year, the snow got so bad, we had 8 inches, and I had to use my 4S to drive down the hill because the bus couldn't take my daughter home. And I felt more prepared for that moment because I had been taught what to do at the Porsche Experience Center. So let's just talk about that for a moment. What is the ice hill, and what is someone learning when they attempt that?
So the ice hill is exactly how we describe it. It's meant to simulate you going down a hill. It's a polished concrete surface that we use, and then we put water on top of it. So if you were to step on that, it has all of the consistency of ice. As you go down the hill, you go into a bit of a J-turn down at the bottom of the hill. Kind of a hairpin turn almost. And your main goal here, your beginning goal rather, is to be able to safely negotiate the highest speed that you can going down that hill, making it around the turn without the car losing control, without it sliding off the back of the road, and then simply being able to manipulate, maintain a safe speed going down the hill, get around that turn as safely as possible without experiencing too much weight transfer that would cause the car to either understeer or oversteer on you at the bottom of the hill, and then just drive off the back end of the turn, essentially.
Well, one of the things that I was taught, and I know every instructor has a different way of referring to things, but one skill that I have learned and taught to my kids, because it's such an issue here in Utah, my instructor referred to it as pitch and pull, which is when it starts to go down, the idea of kind of shaking the wheel back and forth just a little bit to find grip in the middle of that. And that actually has really helped me in situations where I am sliding. Just that slight back and forth movement has helped the car find grip and get in control in situations where otherwise I would just go sliding off the hill.
Yeah, that is true. Basically, the only thing that is connecting a car to this world is the tires. And if you overload the tires in one way or the other, then you've lost control of the car. And that little bit of pitch and pull that you're talking about, it gives the front tires a chance to find maximum grip possible. If you completely go over that limit as far as grip goes, you're no longer in control of the car. The car is now guiding you. One of the main things that happen to people, particularly on going down hills, or if they're going too fast in situations in wet areas, they experience what we call understeer. Pushing, basically. The car's going, you start turning the wheel, car just keeps going straight on you. And a lot of people's first instinct is, well, my car isn't turning. I need to turn more. You're doing the exact wrong thing in that situation because your tires have already lost control. They're not helping you anymore. Turning the wheel more only loses more control. The ice hill is one of the best places here to experience and learn how to just fight that urge, that sensation, that need to try and turn the wheel more. Because the more you turn the wheel going down that hill, you will not turn the car, period.
Yeah. Let's talk about another module. What's another place where someone's going to learn good control and understand what the car is capable of?
Well, the ice hill is, as you said, it's a great place for truly practical learning. That's a situation that a lot of people find themselves in, especially you up there in Utah. Another one that is very similar as far as the applications go would be the low friction circle. So this, also a polished concrete, we've thrown water on top of it as well, and your job is simply to go around in a circle and just keep going in circles over and over again, gradually increasing your speed. And eventually you will feel one of those two sensations, understeer or oversteer. This is a very common scenario out here in California, actually. Essentially, here in California, when it does rain, as it actually did this morning, as a matter of fact, you'll find yourself going on your favorite on-ramp or off-ramp. It's a little slick outside, and all of a sudden you start to lose a little bit of control, or you just start to get a little bit nervous as you're going around the turn, and you make a movement or a motion within your car that maybe you shouldn't have. This is a safe place to find out what to do if you make that movement, whether it be you suddenly lift off the gas pedal, which upsets the balance of the vehicle, and now you find yourself in a sudden snap oversteer that you certainly weren't expecting because you lift off the gas, I should slow down. Not necessarily the case based on physics, essentially. Or you're just going way too fast around that turn and you don't lift off the throttle and you start to overload the front of the tires, and now your car isn't turning anymore. It's just going straight off of that favorite on-ramp. So this is a great place to learn what that feels like, particularly for Californians, because our roads do get really slick when it rains out here.
I think that leads us into the kick plate, too. Can you talk about that a little bit? That's actually one of my favorites, and that's one where I feel really good about myself because I do quite well with it. But tell us a little bit about what that is.
Man, the kick plate kicked my butt when I first started here. I mean, it's just a sensation that you generally don't get in this world. You find yourself driving straight ahead. Coach is telling you, just look down there at the end, focus on the building in front of you, or focus on those orange cones at the end of the street. Okay, why am I focusing on that? Trust me. You're driving along nice and easy, and then suddenly, boom. It feels like somebody kicked the back of your car. And then the surface that you find yourself on just as that car gets kicked is that same polished concrete with water on top of it, ice. As physics will tell you, an object in motion will tend to stay in motion if there's nothing to stop it. And when you're on ice, there's no friction to stop it. So that car wants to just keep spinning on you all the way down this surface. And it's your job to react as quickly as possible. Be the opposite entity in that physics equation that stops the car from spinning on you too much. So you simply counter steer. A lot of people have heard the term steer into the skid. I don't personally like using that terminology because a lot of people think that means you turn with the car spinning, but the skid is the back of the car, not the front of the car. So what you want to do is turn into the back of the car, basically turning in the direction that you want the front to face. And you have to do it lightning fast. If you think about it, it's already too late. This has to be something that you simply react to. It's a ton of fun to play with, though. And when you do catch it, it's just a success or fail module. And when you get success, you feel pretty proud about yourself.
Yeah. And you're practicing it safely. For me, the biggest skill that I learned and that I also pass on to the people I coach is that concept of the car goes where your eyes go. So if your eyes are in the right spot, like you said at the beginning, looking forward, looking down at that building, your hands are naturally going to want to go where they need to go to correct it.
Oh, it is absolutely one of the most important concepts of driving is keeping your vision where you want to go. If you're just looking right in front of you the entire time, just looking basically where the car is sitting at all times, well, you're reacting to the road everywhere you go. You're never preparing for a turn, and you will never make that turn as efficiently as possible. So you're always trying to look where you eventually want the car to be, because then your entire body, your hands, your feet, everything is preparing for that turn coming up.
So let's pause from the modules for just a second to talk about the thing that everybody wants to know about, which is what are the cars? What can I drive when I go to the Porsche Experience Center?
Well, you can pretty much drive the entire fleet of our vehicles. Now, there are certain vehicles that come out that they simply will not let us put out on the track. I do apologize, but no one's going to get to come up here and drive an 911 ST. Sorry about that. Everything from a 718 Cayman all the way up to a GT3 RS. These are all vehicles that you're allowed to try out on the track. Now, there are certain caveats for some vehicles. The GT3 RS, for example, that's a vehicle that you can only utilize if you experience one of our accelerated or advanced programs, or if you come see me and you're picking up a GT3 RS. Then you get to do a 90-minute drive session in a GT3 RS of ours out on the track. And if nothing else, coming here to drive one of these vehicles just gives you an idea of what it is that you have either purchased or potentially want to purchase. Because let's be honest, most folks, they would love to get their hands on one of these cars and call it their own. But knowing what it can actually do, what went into the design, the engineering of this vehicle, why it actually is as special as it is, coming to a place like this gives you a chance to truly experience that, make it a tangible thing as opposed to just this idea of what a car can do.
Yeah, that leads into a question that I have seen asked many times, either to me, people who are going there. I've seen it asked on Reddit, which is, what car should I choose? What would be a great place to start? Let's put it that way.
There's no right or wrong answer to the question. But what I can tell you is this. All of them behave very differently. And if you're looking for the sensation of a balanced vehicle, for instance, then you want to go and jump in the 718s. It's a mid-engine vehicle. It's a very balanced car. Generally, they don't have a ton of power compared to the 911, so it's not something that you're going to feel very overwhelmed in, but you're going to have a lot of fun driving it, particularly when you do those low friction modules that I was talking about. You may be somebody that wants to just experience raw, unadulterated horsepower. Go grab that 911 Turbo S. Go jump on the acceleration straight and see what it feels like to go from 0 to, oh my God, in 2.5 seconds. Then you will get an exhilarating feeling from that, and you will feel that you got your money's worth when you do that. It's just like a toolbox. You have a different tool for different things that you want, and they can all be fun in their own way, or they can all be fun in every way, just depending on how you approach each car.
In my experience, the comparative experiences are really nice. For instance, you can do the 2-wheel drive versus the 4-wheel drive, right, on the 911. I've done the GT4 versus the GT3, and I've done the GT3 versus the Turbo S. And I like those because those allow me to really feel the difference, right? And every time I did it, personally, I always go back to the GT3. I just like that a lot. It just fits the way my brain works. But I would say, don't think that only one time is the time that you go. I would say that you're going to go and then you're going to want to go back. So my perspective is, start maybe lower and then build your way up. Get a feel for what it is if it's your first time. And then the next time, plan on going back a second time and then jump up to what you want to jump up to.
I agree with you on the multiple times concept. One of the things that I like to stress if a person's going to come multiple times is that first time you come, you get to find out what all of the modules are. And as we've already gone through, we've touched on 3 of them so far. There's still a few others that you want to play with here. When you come back, now you know what we have to offer. Now you know what you want to work on. Now you know the modules that you want to spend the majority of your time on, and you're able to focus your time a little bit better to hone whatever particular skill you're trying to hone on that particular day. Or you just come back and do all the modules again because it was just a ton of fun. That's the beauty of the place. It doesn't have to be just for learning. It can just be a way to blow off steam. That's the beauty of what this facility is. Now, there's also folks that come up here to learn. Back when we did manual programs, the Master the Manual, we actually had a young lady who owned quite a few Porsches, and a couple of them were manuals. She didn't know how to drive a manual. So she came up here every week, sometimes 2 times a week. She had her standing coach waiting for her. She did over 100 drives, just getting better and better at manuals, to the point that by the time I saw her last, She was just flying around the track in a manual. She was able to drift the ice hill uphill, shifting in a manual, going uphill while sliding. Like, she became a true master of the manual. So, like I said, it's a place where you can come here to have fun, or you come here to learn a little bit something about yourself.
I'm over here with a big smile on my face as you say that, because that really, that spirit of wanting to improve is the reason why I got into this. I don't know if I told you this, Charles, but the moment where this all kicked off for me was doing a test drive in Las Vegas. And I got done with the Boxster, and I got out of the car, and the sales rep, his name's David, was really nice. And he says, the limit isn't the car, it's you. And that phrase flipped a switch in my head, and I took it as a challenge. I was like, all right, then I need to not be the limit. I need to figure out what that does. And I love that story that you just told about the woman that was learning how to drive the manual and putting that much attention into it because she was making herself not the limit anymore.
She broke through that limit, and she was something else by the time she was done.
Yeah. And few people figure out what that limit is.
Yeah.
Give us an overview of some of the other modules that we haven't talked about.
So we've already talked about 3 of the low friction modules, and those are the 3 modules that we actually use water on. We have one other module that is low friction, but no water. It's polished concrete. Some people look at it as a go-kart track almost. It's the low friction handling circuit. Between you and me, it's my favorite place on the track.
I agree.
It's just one of the best examples of car control. Not to mention, I use it when I'm coaching people to teach them how to better negotiate a full-size track. It's a great place to learn how to make your vision look in one direction, even though the car is pointed in another. That's very uncomfortable for people when they first start doing this, but it's something that you have to get used to doing, trusting that you know where the vehicle is on the track while you're looking for where you want it to eventually go.
Yeah. The last time I was there, I did the GTS, the 911 GTS, the new hybrid one. And that was my favorite part, was learning how to take that rear end and just swing it around each corner so smoothly. And my instructor just did such a great job of saying the right thing to get me to float that thing around it.
It's so much fun. A short little story about that particular module for me anyway. As I've said, when I got hired here, I had never been a driver. I had never been on a track before. I didn't know anything about how to drive in a high performance manner. I was a good driver and I wasn't afraid of driving, but I didn't know what it took to do what we do here yet. I was hired on personality and very good looks. Anyway,
which both are fantastic. I'm just going to say both are good.
But the chief instructor, he just saw something and was like, we're going to make you a project. You bring those skills that you have. We're going to teach you how to drive. And one night after a few days of training had begun and I met all the other people that were going to be my colleagues. And for the first time in my life, I was like intimidated. I have an outrageous amount of confidence most of the time. And I looked around these guys and was like, yeah, I'm not good enough. This is not for me. I need to do something else. He said, no, come out. We're about to do some training after normal training is done. It's just going to be you, our assistant chief instructor. Y'all are going to have the entire track to yourself. And the first place they wanted me to learn was the low friction modules. We went out to the low friction handling circuit. And that first night, within about 10 minutes, I felt the car starting to slide and was able to actually stop it from spinning out of control. Within about 15 minutes, I got it to hold around one particular corner. 25 minutes later, I connected 2 or 3 corners. Then we went back over to the low friction circle, played there a little bit. I was able to hold a drift all the way around for a couple of circles. And then we went back to the low friction circuit again, the low friction handling circuit. I came around the first turn, broke the back end free, held the drift all the way around it, connected it to the next corner. And after those two, I've got my assistant chief instructor sitting next to me. Charles, do you know what you just did? Do you know what you just did? And I'm just like, I don't know, but I'm still driving here. Connected 2 or 3 more corners. And let me tell you, folks, the smile that was on my face from that moment for the next 2 or 3 days is something I will never forget. The smile is coming back to my face as I remember it. I'm walking through the grocery store, just skipping around. That sensation of being able to control that car the way that I did is something that I was like, I'm hooked. All right, whatever y'all tell me, give me more. I want to learn all of this. I want to be as good at this as I can possibly be. And not only that, I want to be able to give other people this exact same experience. I want you to be able to feel what I just felt, because it was one of the most exhilarating, satisfying things that I've ever experienced in my life.
And that's really something I want to highlight, is the story aspect of it. I think that's what makes experiences like this so great, is because you feel like you have a story, and you almost feel like you're the hero of that story. Right? When you did something for the first time, when you experience that first moment, when you catch the kick plate, when you drift the car around the low friction course, when you correct it properly, when you're going down the ice hill, these are things that you want to tell people about. And you tell yourself, and you feel the smile about when you think about it. And that's why I wanted to share this with people, so that they understand that this is such a great option, whether it's the Porsche Experience Center in LA, whether it's the one in Atlanta, whether it's the Barber track experience in Alabama, which I've done a couple of times. These are all wonderful opportunities that Porsche is offering for anyone. You don't have to own a Porsche to come experience and have these kinds of stories that you can tell other people and remember for the rest of your life.
Don't forget about our friends overseas. You've got some in Germany. You've got Silverstone. I've personally done the one in Japan. Gorgeous. Oh my goodness. It's one of the most beautiful tracks you'll ever drive through. The mountains of Japan. It's just amazing.
You know, I think we could talk about all the stuff. We could talk about the launch module. We could talk about, the autocross. We could talk about the course itself. I think we've whetted people's appetites enough for this. And to say, go and see for yourself. Go experience these things. And definitely, if you're getting a Porsche, do the experience there so that you can see Charles in all his magic. Let me ask you one question about that without getting into specifics, because you do such a great job of customer service, Charles. What is your mindset? How do you think about things so that you create these memorable experiences for people who are picking up their Porsche there?
Well, I'm a person that has loved these cars since, I was about 5, 6 years old. I don't know if you remember the movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my gosh, that's old school.
Yeah. At one point, there's a guy, he's driving around in this yellow, it looks like a mashup of different Porsches now that I look back at it. But essentially, it was a yellow Targa with a big whale tail. And I thought the car looked so cool. And from that day forward, I've been in love with Porsches. Flash forward, I started to think about what would it be like to get one of these cars? What would I want that experience to be like? And I would put together this elaborate scheme in my head of what the day is going to be like when I go to get my car. First of all, I wanted to go to Europe. It was going to be at the facility, and I was like, y'all are going to bring the car off of the lot to me, and it's going to be covered, and I'm going to see it spinning around someplace in a room, and it's just going to be me that it gets revealed to. So I had all of these dreams of what I wanted a delivery for myself to be like, right? Flash forward to me working here, and they decide they're going to do the new vehicle delivery program here. And our operations manager at the time, a gentleman, Arndt Stolman, who now runs the center in Tokyo, asked me if I wanted to put together the program here. I was like, well, this is perfect, because guess what? I've been dreaming of this program for my entire life. So anybody that comes in here to pick up their vehicle from us, what they're living is that dream that a 6-year-old kid had when he first saw Commando. Every little thing that you see is what, in my head, I think would be the best possible time for me. And I just assume that you're going to like it too. So basically, you're getting a chance to see what I think would just be the most fun, even the little bitty things, which, as you said, we're not going to get into, but all of the little things that we put in there, it's just little Easter eggs that I think would make it that much more entertaining, that much more of a story for a person to tell when they go back and they talk about when they got their car, when they're just sitting in their bed thinking about the fact that they've achieved this dream. How awesome was that moment when it finally came to fruition?
I love the empathy behind that, right? Of putting yourself in those shoes. By the way, do you know what my first movie Porsche trigger was for me? Was Condor Man, 1981. You ever seen that?
Oh, no.
Condor Man Porsche. And there's it's a terrible movie, but when I was 6, it was fantastic. But that scene is not terrible. It's one of the coolest car chases in history. You need to check it out. Yeah, and they're all black Porsches, and then the lead villain has a slant-nosed turbo. And it's a really cool thing. So check that out. Someone reminded me of it, and I was like, that's where it came from. That's where I first saw it, fell in love with them. So, Charles, at the end of every one of these interviews, I ask a series of quick questions. I call them the hot lap questions. And I'm just going to give you a quick question. And you give me a quick answer as we go through it. You ready?
All right.
Favorite car you've ever driven on the track?
Honestly, and this is going to sound crazy, the most entertaining vehicle that I've driven on the track is the Cayenne Turbo GT.
Really?
Oh my God. Nothing that size should do what that vehicle can do. It's just absolutely insane when you start driving that thing around the track. If you ride behind it, it's insane to watch. Like, nothing that large should stay so flat. I've seen it go through a slalom and there's no body roll. It just stays flat through the slalom. It looks like you're watching something in fast forward. It is an absolute engineering marvel. If you have the means, if you're able to get your hands on one of these things, get it.
Okay, added to my bucket list, the Cayenne Turbo GT. I'll have to check that out. So the next one is the bucket list car you haven't driven on the track, but want to.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I'm pretty sure this is not something that anyone's going to let me just go out and play with. I'd love for somebody to throw me the keys to their Carrera GT. I want to.
No, that's special.
Man, that thing is one of the most amazing vehicles. Probably my second favorite Porsche. The thought of trying to handle that monster on the track is a challenge that, if I tackle it, that smile I had when I left low friction handling circuit that very first day, that's going to be multiplied by 1,000. I might never stop smiling. You can call me the Joker from that day forward.
I love it. Most proud track-related accomplishment?
I would love to say it was, again, that day that I first got to drifting, but actually that's not what made me the proudest. The proudest moment I had was actually, I have a guest gentleman who's done a few deliveries here. He often brings his girlfriend with him, and she is just dead set against doing the driving and whatnot. It's just not her thing. She doesn't really like it. She gets in the car with him and doesn't want to really try and push cars or really get to enjoy them at all. I convinced her to jump in the car with me. I convinced her to jump into that driver's seat. Let me teach you a few things. All right. She finally gave in and got into the car, and she was timid and she was scared and she was afraid of people driving up behind her. I'm like, don't worry about it. If they get too close, we'll get to the straightaways and they can drive by us. Everyone here is here to learn, so don't feel intimidated. Again, one of the great things about this place. My proud moment was that by the time we were done, she had passed a couple of people on the track. Even prouder moment was when they came back for another delivery. I had her actually challenge him, and she felt totally confident in doing it. So we set up a little special, went back to the dynamics pad area and just let them drive around the dynamics pad area a little bit. She would drive, then he would drive, then she would drive, and he would drive. And we got to look at the progression and how much better she got. and how she was eventually actually driving smoother, more fluidly, and more in control around there than he was. This dude races. And I got her, who was afraid to drive, to look even smoother and better than him. He was still faster, but she was good. And my proud moment was that I got her there and that she was no longer afraid of these cars and really felt like she had a connection to the cars as well and better understood his connection to them.
I love it. I love that your favorite moment is what you help someone else do, and that is the spirit of coaching. Those are my favorite moments too. When I get somebody who's been out on the track the first time and get them hooked, get them doing great. I love it. Okay, moving along. Favorite track you've driven?
Man, that's tough because Tokyo was really beautiful, but it was a little easier than this track. This track is extremely technical. I've got to say it's our track. It's the PEC PEC Los Angeles handling circuit is my favorite track. But eventually I'm going to get out to some real tracks and probably get some higher speeds that are going to make me change my mind.
Well, I want to get you out here to Utah, get you out to Burt Brothers Motor Park.
We can do that. I have a new favorite.
Yeah. Best piece of driving advice you've ever received?
This is not advice that I want to give to people. This is purely advice for when I'm playing around sometimes, particularly on the ice hill, and I'm in an all-wheel drive car. When in doubt, folks, power out. There's some instances when you've got that. It's particularly true in an all-wheel drive car when it feels like it's just about to spin out on you. You've pretty much lost all control. You crank those wheels in the direction that you want the car to go. Try powering out. But the real advice that I want to give to anybody who's driving in general is just use your eyes. Look for where you want that car to go. Don't look where you're afraid to go. If you're driving around a canyon and you see a tree coming up and you're terrified of that tree and you're looking at that tree hoping to avoid that tree, you're going to hit that tree. But if you look around the road and see where the turn is coming, see where the road flows to, your hands, your feet, they're going to do everything they can to follow where your eyes are looking. Look where you want that car to eventually be, not always where that car is heading, and you will get the car going where you want it to go.
That's always good advice. Every situation. That's the best. And then last question, what's one thing you want every amateur or would-be driver to do?
Have fun. This is so much fun. I cannot stress how enjoyable it is to get out there and jump into a car. Obviously, we all want you to be safe. We want you to come back in one piece and we want your car to come back in one piece, but have some fun with it. Don't get too wrapped up if you mess something up. Obviously, if you wreck, you're going to be upset, but don't get too upset when you don't hit a turn just right. If you feel like you're not able to get back to acceleration proper, if you don't think that you're hitting your apexes properly, don't get upset. Just have fun with it. Go back and do it again. All of this is fun for you to do. And the more fun you have doing it, I promise, the better you're going to get at it.
Yeah. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, oh man.
Well, I'm going to give also one other suggestion to every amateur driver. I think it's pretty obvious, but get yourself to a Porsche Experience Center. You're going to have a great time and you're going to appreciate the cars more. And if you've never done anything like this before, it's going to start to develop those skills that are useful in every situation. And if you go to the Porsche Experience Center in LA, say hi to Charles for me and tell him that DMC said hello and that you heard him on this podcast.
Yes, indeed. I will more than likely be here. I'm here every day, except on Saturdays. I did want to say one quick thing about Porsche Experience Center in Los Angeles. It's just certain misconceptions that some folks have about PECs in general. All of you are welcome all the time. This is not a place that you have to be a club member to join. This is not a place that you have to own a Porsche to drive at. I don't know if you've caught us kind of just saying random people have come in here, but that's exactly what it is. It's anybody that wants to come and drive a Porsche and experience a driving experience unlike anything that they've probably ever had before. You can come up here and enjoy it.
It's a wonderful place. It's one of my favorite places to go to in the world. And there's a wide variety of budgets available for it. Charles, this interview went exactly the way I thought it would. You're such a pleasure to talk to. You're just a lot of fun to listen to and learn from.
It's really wonderful. And I truly thank you for wanting me to be a part of this program with you. It's really exciting getting to share some of my stories and some of my passion with all of your listeners.
Yeah, it was wonderful to talk to you. Hopefully you'd like to come back, because I'd love to have you back.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Well, we'll put a link to the Porsche Experience Center. We'll also put a link to Charles's LinkedIn profile. Again, thank you for being here. And thank you for listening. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer, you can send those to show@drivesport.co. And if I don't know the answer, I'll talk to somebody who does. And also tell me if there are any people you think I should interview, or any schools or tracks that I should attend. You can also send that to show@drivesport.co. Thanks for listening. Eyes up and stay fluid.
You've been listening to Drive Sports, the amateur track driver podcast, hosted by DMC and produced by Drive Sports LLC. Research and assistant production by Victoria Bidez. Music is by Illigot via Premium Beat Licensing. If you have a question, guest suggestion, or a track DMC should visit, please send it to show@drivesport.co. Please subscribe to Drive Sport on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to get your podcasts. And follow us on social media @Drive Sport Co. We'll see you in the next episode.